Dorothy here today from Done by Dorothy, and we are here today bringing a whole new type of video, I guess I could say. I've had some requests because I talked about doing sewing in the upcoming Mirabella Nature Journal, so I wanted to make a video of how I at least do my pages. So I thought I would share that with you. So like I've got some mocked up here. I'm using a gold thread because I think it just sort of adds to the vintage look. I do use Maxi-Lock Serger thread. You buy it in the big cones, and I will put a link to where I buy mine from in the description box below. I'm actually using a Brother DZ 3000 Designo computerized sewing machine, but you can use any type of sewing machine. You know, the older ones you buy from Goodwills, things like that. You know, I know Walmart has like $50 ones. Sometimes they go on sale for $30 around Christmas time, and that, I mean, you can use those. I'm going to use a simple zigzag stitch, which is, you know, this simple zigzag. And let me pull my foot off so you can see it. And this is just the simple foot that comes with it. So nothing special. I'm not using any kind of, you know, special thing. I'm not changing my stitch lengths or anything. I'm trying to keep it pretty basic. I'm not going to go through how to thread your machine or your bobbin. You need to make sure you look into your manufacturer's book for that. If you don't have one, you know, search the name of your machine and manual, PDF manual through like Google, and usually you can find copies of them that way. Sometimes they're PDF, you just download them. There are so many machines and so many different types that there's no way I could tell you how to do each exact one because there's so many different types. Like I said, I do have, you know, a more expensive machine, but I quilt. I've been sewing and I do clothing, and so I mean I've been sewing since I was really young with 4-H. So, you know, if you've never sewed before and you're just wanting to sew, you know, on journals and you're unsure, don't go and buy a big expensive machine. Just go buy one of the, you know, the cheaper ones, or the cheapest ones even. Honestly, the basic Singer or Brothers at Walmart. I actually have a Singer that is the basic, and I may do some videos with it too, because Singers are a little bit different than Brothers. Not a whole lot. I mean, the basic concepts are the same. I do have one that I paid like, I think it was on sale one Christmas, and I got it for like $25. I've had it for like 15 years, 13 years. So they do last. So, I mean, you know, don't think you have to go spend a huge amount of money on a new sewing machine. You don't have to. And a lot of times you can find those at, you know, Goodwill, thrift stores, yard sales, fairly estate sales, auctions, really, really cheap. So we're going to do the zigzag stitch. And again, like I said, I use the Maxi-Lock thread. I will put a link to that. You can use any kind of thread. You can use your basic machine thread you buy like at Walmart, Target, you know, any place that has a sewing thing, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or whatever. And you can buy serger thread at any big box store, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, that type of thing. I use serger thread, and the place I buy it from, I get a really good deal on it. So, you know, that's just me. This is like the same gold color that you get on blue jeans. And because it's a serger thread, it's a, well, let me see if you can, it's a thicker thread, and I like the definition that it gives my page. So that's me. Like I said, I use a regular foot. I am going to try to, you know, sort of walk you through how I do my pages. And, you know, there's some other things. So I might do like this. I might do sort of a, you know, sewing and journal type series. But so just to let you know the difference, and you can use the little handheld sewers too. This is with the sewing. This is a page without sewing. So, I mean, you can see the big difference. So we're going to set this up. So basically what I do, and let me pull this off again so I can show you. Okay, if you see this foot, see right in the center right here, these two like curved little edges? There's the hole where your needle goes, and then there's this clear back plate back there. Okay, when I first put my page in, I put my page right to where that, see where that it's meeting the metal right there? I line my page up there. Okay, so like obviously I'd be over to the side though. I line it up to there. I put this edge of my page just to the inside of this metal foot right here, right like that. Okay, and then when I stop sewing, when I like, I would sew all the way up the side. When I get to the bottom, I stop when my page gets right to the bottom of those curves. That just works for me. If you're too short or too far, you can lift your needle up and, rearrange whatever you need to. So let me put this back in here, and I'm going to try to pull you down as close as I can get you without blinding you and still being able to see what I do. So let me move you just a little bit. Hopefully that's close enough that you can see really good. Okay, and I can still get over top the camera and see. So, like I said, I'm going to line this right up with the back of my opening where the metal is back there. So I'm lining it up with the metal. And you'll see, let me grab my pokey tool real fast. That might help me be able to point closer so my chunky fingers aren't in the way. Right here, where this foot is, okay, my page is lined up right there. Hopefully my arm isn't in the way. Right here, inside this. And this is lined up right to the back where this section is. Okay? Now, I don't, backpedal my machine to hold it in because I'm going to glue it down on a page. When I glue it down on a page, it's going to be stuck, so I don't have to worry about it coming loose. If I was sewing directly on my page, like because I'm going to glue my pages after I sew them into my journal pages onto my tea-dyed paper. If I was sewing this directly onto my tea-dyed paper, which you can do, and you don't have to use glue, but you don't have as much control over the page. If you are going to do that on your page, then I suggest starting and stopping when you get to the front, when you're starting and when you're stopping, just to secure your thread in there. One thing that's important, I use the smallest needle that I can find. I believe this is an 80-19 is what I use. You can use there are smaller ones. I use an 80-19. It's the smallest I can do, with the serger thread, and it actually works the best. So it's an 80-19 needle. I always make sure I put a new needle in so it's nice and sharp. If you have a dull needle, it will rip your pages, just so you're aware of that. When I finish a journal, at the end of finishing a journal, I make sure that I oil my machine to clean my machine because the paper chunks get in there, the paper dust gets in there, and you need to oil your machine. You need to check your manufacturer's instruction on that, especially if you've just bought a new machine, because if it's under warranty, it may tell you have to take it to a dealer to be cleaned. Majority of them have how to clean them in their manuals. I know the Brother comes with specific details, Singer does, so you know how to open them up, where to clean at, and where to oil. So you need to make sure you oil and clean it because the paper will dry your machine out. Usually you can go a long while without doing it, but I try to do it at the end of every journal because if not, it saves later headaches just by doing it. And that sort of, lets me know when I'm starting to do a journal, I'm starting my machine fresh. I'm not stressing my machine because I want my machine to last as long as it can. Okay, so I've got my paper lined up on both sides. Then I'm going to drop my needle. And again, I have a computerized machine, so, my buttons are up here to do some things. If not, you're going to do it with the dial on the side of the machine. Okay. And then my machine has where I can control the speed. I have mine to the slowest speed because I'm showing you in video. You're going to use your pedal to do it. Just increase your speed as you're comfortable with it. You may get to where you can just fly through them And, you know, if I wasn't doing a tutorial, I get through mine pretty fast. But doing a tutorial, I'm going as slow as I can to show you exactly how to do it. So you can build your speed as you go. Don't worry about rushing. I mean, the basics of doing journal is to relax and calm, and, you know, you don't have to rush. So, and I'm just going to hold my paper and I'm going to let the machine feed through. And you can see how slow I can slow my machine down. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. And I'm going to feed it, and the whole time that I'm feeding it, I'm going to keep this edge just lined up to the inside of the leg of this, of my, yeah, I forgot what it was called. Yeah, I just, oh, you know how that works. I'm just going to keep it lined up to the inside of my foot. Whew. And I'm just going to keep that lined up, and it will feed itself through there. I can, okay, see how this thread is here? This is from my bobbin. You want to keep that to the back. I didn't specifically to show you. Sometimes that will get wrapped up in there. So when you start on the next one, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it again. But when we do the next one, I'll show you how to prevent that from doing that. If it does get up there, just stop, pull the thread back, and put it to the back of your machine as soon as you see it. Because if you sew over top of it, sometimes it can be extremely hard to try to get out of there. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to increase my speed again, just now that you guys can see, because I don't want to take all day showing you to do one page. Okay, then I'm going to slow down because I'm getting towards the end here. Okay, and you will see, remember, we're supposed to stop at those little curved pieces. So I'm going to go till the edge of my paper is at those little curved pieces. There we go. Okay. I'm going to lift my presser foot, and you should have a little arm either on the right or the left or towards the back. It depends on your machine. I'm just going to rotate my page like 90 degrees. I'm just going to pull this end, the part that's even, you know, horizontal right here. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to drop my foot again, and you will see this is lined up right at the edge of my presser foot here. Okay, if for some reason it doesn't line up and you're halfway through your foot, or you're not far enough over, okay, all you simply have to do is raise your needle, lift your presser foot, straighten your page back to where you need it to be, drop your presser foot, lower your needle again, and you're ready to go. That's all you have to do. Remember, if it is crooked, these are journals, these are handmade. You're going to have moments where it's going to be a little crooked. Let me show you an example. Here we go. I was working on this one. I wasn't really paying attention, and you can tell it slowly went over. I slowly increased. Oh, let me get up here where you can see. Okay, here you go. And I slowly, as I went, increased, and it got wider and wider and wider and wider. Again, over here, see how far the spacing is? So it's not the creative part of it. It's going to make it look different. If you do it identical on every single page, then, you know, you're going to create a really nice journal, which we all want to do. But do you want something that looks like it's factory made or handmade? That's an option up to you. I have hundreds of that's what they look like, stitches that I can use built into my machine, because it is a computerized machine. Most machines, if you have a basic machine, may only have 7 stitches. Some have more. So you can detour between different stitches if you want. On my pages, I like to do them all in the zigzag just because that's my preference. You can change those around. You can do straight stitch, and then go to zigzag if you want. I like doing the change in my stitches on the edge of like my tea-dyed paper because you really accent it. On my basic pages, I like doing the zigzag. So let's carry on and we'll get to the next corner. So, and you're just going to, I'm going to increase my speed again. And so you're just going to go to the next corner. Then we'll pause, lift our foot, and turn again. And I'm sorry for the sewing machine noise. I could have, you know, but that sort of gives you an idea of, okay, so I stopped, lifted my presser foot, rotate. Okay, because sometimes your pages are not exactly even. You know, you've got that extra 1/4 inch. You may have where it comes over to the edge of the presser foot here or into the center and you want it on the inside. So again, raise your needle, pick up your presser foot, slide it over, set it down. You can lower your needle again and then continue on to the next. You will sometimes get like little straight stitches in the corner when you do that. It doesn't bother me. If that's something that bothers you, then, you know, you may want to make sure your pages are more even, I guess. I don't know. That's just something I've never really bothered with. I sort of like the framing it does in the corner. Again, I tend to be a more organic, I guess. It just, the way it comes out, it's the way it comes out with me. Again, I'm going to raise my needle, move it, drop my needle, and then continue on. Now, when you get, I'm actually going to glue mine in, so I'm not worried about it. Again, if I were not gluing my page in, and then I'm going to raise my needle, raise my presser foot, pull it out. You either, some people have thread cutters at the back. I do, but I don't hardly ever use mine. I just use my scissors. Then I cut the threads in the corner off. Let me back up a little bit. And there's your page. And I'll pull it back out in a little bit so you guys can see after we do another page. Okay, so we're going to do one more. And again, I'm going to pull my threads out a little bit. Now, remember how our thread came down the side? Here's how you do that. If you grab it in your left hand or your right-handed, well, if you're with the sewing machine, you almost pretty much have to do it with your left. Okay, I'm going to line my page up. But before I line my page up, I'm going to pull those threads to the back of my machine. Okay. It's pulled to the back. I've lined up my page, sort of, because I wasn't looking over top of it. There we go. Now, we're just going to begin. I'm going to increase my speed and do this, so it'll be a little bit louder, but I wanted you guys to sort of hear how the machine sounds, just to sort of guide you, because sometimes that helps, and hopefully it's not too loud. Again, I'm going to go till I get to the edge. I'm going to turn, start again. And then you'll just continue this with every single page. You can do it with, you know, around your, we're going to do it through different things around our postcards, some of our tags. We're going to do, there's going to be several different things we're sewing on with this journal. Again, you do not have to sew, and I will, if in the cases where we do tags and things like that, I will make sure I show you how you can do it without sewing versus, you know, sewing, and that is an option because some people just don't want to sew or may not have a sewing machine or, you know, have the finances to, you know, add a sewing machine to their craft tools right now. Okay. And again, that's just it. And so you've seen how fast that page went. I mean, that's in real life. So, okay, I am going to stop this, back out, and pull my pages out so I can show you some things. Okay, guys, Dorothy back here, and I wanted to just sort of show you, like, these are some of our pages where we hadn't sewn. So you can see those better maybe as a full-size page instead of me trying to zoom up in on them. And then here are pages that we sewed. So, I mean, you can see the difference side by side really good. So, you know, you see the difference that those sewed pages do make. So, I am going to continue on and sew all of my pages. Again, you can trim these down if you want to. I usually leave about 1 inch of mine because I like the sort of shagginess that it comes out. So one thing that I will do, like all of these I started on the right hand side. Okay, so if you want your threads to alter, so you sort of have threads all across the top, you know, on both sides, or even if you want to go all through the center, all you have to do is alter where you start. So instead of placing my page like this, you know, right in my presser foot in that corner, I can actually turn my page this way and start here. That's going to leave my threads here. I can start in the middle, it's going to leave my threads in the middle, or here, start them here, or at the end. So I can actually have threads, you know, scattered all across the top. So when I get them in my journal, you know, all of my threads are going to be hanging out on here right now. They're all to the right side because I started there. So, you know, I do so many, move over, do so many, so they're scattered across the top. And that gives you just that nice sort of shagginess across the top. Just sort of adds to the, you know, all of the wonderfulness on the top of your journal. So that is how I sew my pages. If you have any questions, be sure to ask in the comments. Again, I will leave the links. I will leave a link to the foot that I use, which is the basic one that comes with your machine, but I'll still, you know, do like an Amazon link so you can see the exact kind that it is. I will, or through the other company if it's cheaper, I will leave a link to the thread that I have. I also, through the same company with my serger thread, and I sort of changed mine a little bit. I sort of DIY'd it. I got a thread stand, and it's got, you know, this big hook on the end, and I'll put a link to it. It has a small metal attachment that comes out of the middle, and I still have mine, and it works great for regular thread, but it's not really long enough to really control a tall spool. So, you know me and my DIY, I actually cut off a part of a chopstick, and it works great for holding it now. So, you know, that's just one of the things that I did. I find that the spool holds better. I do have a large spool holder on my machine, but I don't like the way that it feeds my thread. So, you know, that may be something that you want to look into. So I'll put a link to that too. You guys have a great rest of your day. We will be back with, you know, some other sewing videos as we get to that part in our journals we're working through. I'm going to finish sewing the rest of my pages, and then I will be back, you know, with the Mirabella Nature Journal as we work with these pages that we finished today and fitting them into our signatures. So I will see you later. You guys have a great day. Bye.